Hi, Joe. How are you today?
Hi there, I'm very good, thanks. Home in London at the moment. The sun's out today, so yeah, good vibes.
We are from Brazil. I'm Jody, Bruna, and Otávio. And we are from We Go Out, a website about electronic music, parties, and festivals. So,
Cool.
you have big hits Sorry, Lonely, Head and Heart, and the latest Bad. Tell us more about the beginning of your career and how was the process to achieve the top of the charts?
Oh wow. Okay, so I started DJing when I was a teenager. I got my first pair of decks for Christmas when I was like 13 years old. My older brother was a DJ, so I just got them because I wanted to be like cool like my older brother. So during my teenage years, like DJing became like my biggest hobby. And I started DJing in nightclubs and under 18 events, and I got to a point where I was DJing so much, and I was like, okay, how can I like take the DJing to the next level? And when I was looking at like who my idols were, obviously I realized that the key was to start, producing my own music and playing my own music, not just playing other people's music. So I started producing when I was at college, and that was back when I was 19 years old. Um, and this is something that I kept doing for years and years. And always had the dream of having a hit record. And I kept promoting myself as a DJ, working very hard over the years during my 20s. And yeah, I mean, Sorry was my first proper hit. There was a lot of there was a lot of singles before Sorry, but that was the first one that was a hit, and that was when I was 30 years old. So it took me 10 years to make that breakthrough, and since then it's like it's a dream come true. I know it's a cliche, but it's true. Like I've literally been living my dream for the last 2 years, and I'm just so, happy that finally I've got to a place where I found my sound, and I've got a great team around me. And I'm now working with some amazing artists, like recently my single, I mean, Bed, I collaborated with RAYE and David Guetta. This is a dream, this is an absolute dream collaboration, and obviously I worked with M&EK on Head and Heart. It's fantastic. So yeah, that's kind of the short story.
In talking about Bad, tell us how was the process to produce the music?
So last summer, I was in the studio, and I was working with a songwriter called Jinjin. Now, Jinjin works a lot with Ray, and Jinjin said to me, "Let me play you some of Ray's latest ideas and demos, and things that they had been working on together." And she played me like 10 different things, right? But there was one that really caught my ear, and it was Bed. It was just the chorus though, and it just had some chords behind it. But as soon as I heard it, I was like, "That's a hit record!" Like instantly, I knew that this one I had the work on this one, and I connected with it. I liked the lyrics. I felt they were fun and interesting. The hook, the melody in the hook was just fantastic. It was in my head straight away. And I just knew that I had to work on this. So I messaged Ray on Instagram that night. I slid into the DMs and I was like, Ray, I've heard this Bed idea. Like, please can we get in the studio? I've got a vision for it. And then she replied back to me and was like, I wrote this idea with David Guetta months ago. They'd kind of just forgotten about it and put it to one side, And she was like, I actually wrote this with David Guetta. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm gonna have to message David Guetta now. So I wrote him an email. I didn't message him on Instagram. I wrote him a professional email. I was like, dear David, I've heard this Bed idea with Ray, and I would love to work on it. Would you be down for that? And luckily, he knew who I was because he had heard Head and Heart, and he was a big fan of Head and Heart. So yeah, he knew who I was, which I was happy about. And yeah, he was down for it. So me and Ray got in the studio in London like 2 weeks later, and at that point we wrote the rest of the record, and I put my production in there, and this was last July. Yeah, I finished the record in January. I worked on this for 7 months, like a lot of hard work, and but I'm so happy with the final version, and I'm just very grateful for the opportunity to work with Ray and David on this. It's definitely a dream collaboration.
It's amazing. And talking a little bit more about Head and Heart, here in Brazil is a huge success. Like every radios, everybody listening here, and even more after the vintage culture and
Yeah,
Vince Inc. remix. Do you
yeah.
like the remix? What do you think about it?
It's incredible. I play that remix every set. I am a
Really?
huge fan. Like, I am a huge fan of vintage culture. Anyway, so for vintage culture and Fancy Inc. to do this remix, I was very happy about. But my God, it's my favorite remix of Head and Heart, and I even started playing it more than my version. Yeah, it's a beautiful remix, and I'm very thankful for them guys doing a great job on it. And I'm just so happy as well to hear that, Head and Heart is popular in Brazil. It's somewhere that I've never visited before, but it's definitely at the top of my list to come and visit as soon as we can travel again, because I've heard it's such an amazing country, and I know that you guys have the best parties as well. Well,
Exactly. You must come to Brazil. Here, everybody will be like crazy for your show after this
really.
all these hits. But I think Heading Heart, you probably had like a lot of Brazilian fans after that. So everybody knows who you are here. So I think this will be like a very great moment if you come.
So after 1 year without playing for a big crowd, what are your expectations of the clubs and festival seasons come back?
It's a good question. I think that they are going to be the best parties we've ever had. It gives me goosebumps when I think about it, DJing for me and performing is my favorite thing to do in life. It's my passion. It has been since I was a teenager, and I really do miss it. But what I do feel like is that having this break away has just made me feel even more grateful for the job that I do.
Mm,
And I feel like everyone that's missed partying and celebrating together probably thinks, you know what, we were so lucky to, have these events before and have these times together. And I think that when we are allowed to come back, it's just going to be amazing because people have, missed it so much. So I
yeah,
certainly I'm definitely looking forward to it. And also for me, like for me as well, I've released these records. I've never played them to a crowd before. So
yeah,
this is going to
yeah.
be a big moment for me.
So these are like super weird times we're living in right now, and we want you to give us some advices for the beginner producers so they won't stop dreaming for their future.
Yeah. So when I started, it was before like social media. So it was kind of much harder to get your sound heard. But I feel like my advice now would to anyone who's starting to produce or up and coming DJs, um, you need to take advantage of all the platforms that we have available now where you can get yourself out there. Now, what it does mean is that there is more people doing it, right?
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
but that's why you need to work even harder so your stuff stands out and you find something different about yourself that people um, will pick up on. But certainly, you can get your music out there in a second to the whole world now.
hmm,
So yeah, my advice would be first of all, of course, work hard, believe in yourself, and never stop because there's not a time frame on when this is going to happen for you. For me, it might take you 1 year, 2 years. It took me 10 years, but I never stopped, and it eventually happened. And secondly, like I said, take advantage of all these different platforms that you have to get your music out there now because it's easier these days than it used to be. So yeah, just get busy and get active on all the different platforms, TikTok, YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram. There's so many avenues now to get yourself out there.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you very
Joe,
much.
for
thank
having
you.
us.
Hope to see you
We
in
I
a
hope
know.
that
festival soon.
here in
Oh, thank you so
Brazil.
much. Yeah, I can't wait, man. That would be the most amazing trip of my life. So I can't wait. So yeah, thank you for having me, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon in the future.